Hi, I'm Paul Battaglia, and this is Section 1.6, a library of parent functions. In Section 1.6, we see a lot of different types of functions, but there are some that get lost among those. I have Gabe and Brittany here with me, and Brittany's going to talk to you a little bit about how piecewise functions get a little bit lost in the shuffle when we talk about all these other parent functions.
So with piecewise functions, students usually can figure out how to graph them, but the points where is this a closed or open interval gets kind of lost. So I have the students keep them both open until they look at the equations. And then once they see, oh, it says x is less than 4, then I want to keep this one open. But if it says x is less than or equal to 4.
See, and I think that's great because, it prevents them from missing the idea that if you had them both closed, that there wouldn't be a function. So, I like that.
That's something good to point out.
So, Gabe, I know that you want to talk a little bit about the general parent functions, right, in this section. It's not too long of a list. But.
Yeah. So I think just the point of this section is really just to get students to recognize these parent functions. So there's a list of a few parent functions that I think students just need to be able to, like I said, recognize when they see them. So they should know what the equation of a line looks like. They should know what y equals x squared looks like, what the absolute value function looks like, even what the greatest integer function looks like. But what's also nice about this section is since it's relatively short, you can spend a little bit of time reviewing some concepts they already seen. So you can talk about intervals of increasing and decreasing. You can talk about symmetry. You can talk about the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. Domain and range, perfect.
Yeah, that's good. And you know what, actually, another function that we include in the text here is the step function, which again gets lost because I think maybe some teachers feel intimidated with the idea that it doesn't really fit into this nice category like the other ones. But the reason I like that function in particular because it's so rich in real-world applications. We could be talking about postage rates, parking garage rates, and as Brittany, you said before, it's a piecewise function, so it really it flows nicely, One of the things you might look for from your students in terms of common errors are when they have to evaluate piecewise functions. Perhaps they might go to plug in 2 for a certain piece of the function, but put it into the incorrect function. I'm sure you guys have seen something like that before.
That's something I see all the time.
Yeah.
And which one do I plug it into?
Right, exactly. And I think these are things that we don't want to gloss over because the students are going to have to kind of adjust on the fly there, And the last thing I would leave you with is, this section really provides a nice stepping stone for where we go in the next section where we talk about transforming all of these functions, right? So I hope these tips have been helpful and you find much success in section 1.6.